The criteria for a superstar. Let's hear it, man. Now we've heard a couple different takes from, some people, former players and things like that. Like I know the most popular one that's recent is Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson said the criteria for a superstar is if you can go on away games and you selling out stadiums, then in my book, you're considered a superstar. And I don't disagree with that. I think that's a very intriguing take right there from Magic Johnson, one of the GOATs, someone I would proclaim to be an actual superstar. But ultimately, I don't think someone is a superstar unless they're winning. So a superstar wins and continues to win until everybody gets to a point where a large people hate seeing them win and some people love seeing them win. So if you're not a superstar unless you're winning to a point where people hate to see you win and to a point where people love to see you win. Other than that, I don't want to hear it. You got to have a large majority hating you because you're so good, and you have to have the other majority that loves you because you are so good. And if that's not the case, to me, you're not a superstar. Unless there is one exception, the only exception there is if you change the rules in the games because of your play or you change in off-court, on-court rules, then that's an exception, which I'll explain a little bit later. But the reason I say that you have to win until people continue to get tired of seeing you win over and over and over and over and over again is because why else would, guys marvel over people like Jordan? Why do we marvel over people like Magic Johnson and Kobe and people like that? Players like that who've won time after time. Ronaldo, Messi, Tom Brady, all of the greats who we consider superstars. To me, they're superstars because they continue to win until people hate it to watch them win over and over again. If you haven't gotten to that point, then you're not a superstar to me. You can have a superstar season. You can have a great season, an outstanding season. But above all, if you're not winning consecutively to a point where people hate to see you win, you're not a superstar. Because look at Dirk Nowitzki. Now I use Dirk as an example because Dirk is a phenomenal player. We all know the skill set that he's possessed. He transcended the game in terms of post work, transcended the game in the way that he played it, in the skill set of the game. A lot of people try and play like Dirk. He's a tremendous player, someone I would consider an all-star, but I could never consider Dirk a superstar because when he won his first championship, even people from Miami was happy to see him win. Now, if he would have won 7 more times after that, everybody would have hated to see him continue to win over and over again. You would have had Lakers fans mad at you. You would have had Thunder fans mad at you. You would have had Miami Heat fans mad at you. You would have had Spurs fans mad at you. You would have had every single team on the West upset at him because he continued to win so much. And you would have had Eastern Conference teams upset at him because they didn't win a championship at all. So guys like Kobe, Mike, Magic Johnson, I throw Wilt Chamberlain in there because of how he transcended the game, which I'll explain. But there's only a handful of people where I could say they're superstars. Steph Curry, again, using the other sports, Tom Brady is in there. Joe Montana, these different guys, I consider them stars because of how much they won. Now, here's the exception of why I say, there's one exception of if you're not winning and you can't be considered a superstar. The only way you can be considered a superstar if you're not winning consecutively and have a bunch of people that hate you and a bunch of people that love you is if you've changed the game. Now, Allen Iverson, skill set, obviously, we know he was amazing, but I consider Allen Iverson a superstar, not because of how much he was winning, but because he transcended the game. He transcended the rules on and off the court. You had to dress up. It was a dress code. You couldn't show tattoos. You couldn't wear jewelry. You couldn't do this. You couldn't do that. They did a lot of things to change the swagger and the things that Allen Iverson brought to the game of basketball, specifically in the NBA. So for that reason alone, I consider him a superstar. Every great player in the league today who has a little bit of influence is not changing rules in the game. So therefore, I can't consider him a superstar. Another example, Wilt Chamberlain. This dude literally invented the goaltending rule. How could you not consider him a superstar when he was so good that the league had to say, you know what? Hell no, that's cheating. We can't allow that anymore because that's actually unstoppable. And we have nothing we can do about it. So we got to make a rule that just says you can't do that anymore because you're the only person that can do it. And no, we can't have that. To me, Wilt is a superstar for that reason because he transcended the game and altered the rules based on how good he was at his specific position and during his time period. So because of those things, I'm like, I think the criteria for a superstar definitely is different. And anybody, let's say anybody who has some sort of stardom and can be an all-star in their sport is not considered a superstar. I think we often get it twisted and we get it mixed up between superstar and an all-star or a great player. Like, superstar to me is like on a mega stage, like you're Bron status, you're Jordan status, you're Kobe status, you're Magic Johnson status, you're Larry Bird status. Like, to me, that's a superstar. Right now, we have no superstars in the NBA outside of the crew that's on the back end, Steph Curry, Bron, KD, and those type of guys. But even then, it took them a certain amount of time to get to where they were winning, and people hated to see them win in order to become a superstar. Right now, nobody's winning that much where we could say, oh, I'm so tired of seeing him win every single year. No, until you get to that point, you're not a superstar. We've seen it happen with all the greats. And to me, that's my standard of if someone is a superstar or an all-star. Halliburton, all-star, great player, but I can't consider him a superstar. SGA, great player, can't consider him a superstar. All-star. Jason Tatum got himself a ring. Now, if he would have went back this year, then maybe we could start having the conversations. But these conversations of a superstar is a little premature because he's only been there once. He took care of business, but he hasn't been back. We've seen Bron get to the finals 9+ consecutive times. Of course he's a superstar. Everybody hated to see him get there. You had the Celtics mad. You had every other team in the Eastern Conference hating this man. And you got to mention the teams on the Western Conference who had to play him and was hating him too. So because of that reason, I can't consider everyone a superstar. I'm gonna go. A lot of people right now are all-stars, and they'll get to superstar status. But I can't say anyone in the league just yet is a superstar out of the young talent that we have evolving in the NBA right now. I can't say it. No, man, I can't say it. Like, even I go back to like the soccer analogies too, like Messi, Ronaldo. I mean, it's just star status. That's superstar status. These guys have won. And you can argue with some people, but it's a reason why nobody calls Harry Kane the GOAT. It's a reason why nobody called Harry Kane the GOAT, because he ain't won as much as Messi or Ronaldo. So it's like, I take that same logic and put it in the NBA. Nobody has won as much as Kobe, LeBron, and Jordan, and Magic Johnson. So I can't consider them superstars. They're great players. They're all-stars. But I can't consider them superstars. Lamine Yamal, he's a great player. And actually, he's got a hell of a resume because he's been kicking butt. But still, he's still very young. So he gotta keep winning to get to that superstar status. So that's my thing on that in terms of if someone's a superstar, if they're not a superstar.